Scooter heads, welcome to the near-death experience episode of the Electric Scooter Podcast, where I'm going to get melodramatic. I'm your host, Dagwood Streets, and I'm not going to die during this episode anyway, but I do have influenza. But not to worry, you won't get infected just by listening to me, so scoot with me. Scoot for the year. Scoot for the laughter. Scoot for the tears. Scoot with me if it's just for today. Because maybe tomorrow, a big old 18-wheeler take you out of the picture. You never know, man. Truthfully, right? This is going to be a good episode. I'm going to try and get Cody on the line a little bit later. Do you remember from last episode, he went to Spokane, Washington, and got a rental scooter. And the crazy thing about that was somebody was able to manipulate his speed that he had no control over. It was like from satellite or something into his throttle that slowed him down when he came to certain areas. And it slowed him down quite significantly. I was shocked. But the Electric Scooter Podcast sent him off to Spain because we've heard a lot about scooters being super popular in Spain. And when I say we sent him there, no. I didn't pay for his ticket. He was going there anyway. I just asked him, of course, to scope out the scooter sitch in España. Apparently he liked it there, but we're going to hear from him later on that topic. And then we're also going to talk about a couple other things here before we get to Cody. We are going to talk about some scooter trends and statistics. And specifically one brand new scooter came out that seems to me to be pretty cool. So, father of Liv Tyler, poet, author, one of the hosts of American Idol. Oh yeah. Please, Steven Tyler, don't sue. It's just an homage to you, with a little fromage too. That means cheesy. I'm going to get through this episode. And don't worry, you're not going to catch influenza by listening to me. All right, here we go. Let's launch the episode. This is from an article I came across by a company called Esfera. That's E-S-F-E-R-A. Esfera Soft. And it's called Global E-Scooter Market Trends and Statistics. The increasing popularity of e-scooter sharing services. Whenever they say sharing services, that's rental scooters, okay? And it starts off with visit Spain, and you'll find more electric scooters than cars and motorcycles. Really? Is that really true? I think they're using their poetic license there. In actual statistics, I can't believe that's true. They mean just looking around, there's a lot of them. That's what I would say. And in the next 5 years, similar scenes could be witnessed in the U.S. and other European countries. Let me say that again. Visit Spain and you'll find more electric scooters than cars and motorcycles. It doesn't really say there are more. That would be incredible if that were the truth. But the global e-scooter market is skyrocketing, and more people are shifting from private and public transport to electric scooter rentals. Okay. I like it up to that part. People are switching to electric scooters. You should buy your own. Let's be clear on that. There's a million reasons. You've heard them all in my other podcasts if you follow the Electric Scooter Podcast. You want to own your own scooter. You don't want to rent scooters. Aside from being gross and dangerous, you're not going to know how to maneuver a strange scooter. Even if you're good with scooters, you won't be able to maneuver it like a scooter that you own. Sorry if I'm tripping over my words. I have a high temperature right now. So it's proven to be a challenge for me just being able to speak. E-scooters are environment friendly and they reduce pollution. And they are more affordable. Duh. Electric scooter is a stand-up scooter powered by an electronic motor. They're classified as a form of micro-mobility where the rider stands in the center. Well, yeah, on the deck. Hopefully you're not sitting on the handlebars or something. There's not a lot of space to maneuver on an electric scooter. Did you know that the history of electric scooters goes back to 1915 when a company called Autoped introduced its stand-up scooter? However, the major revolution in the e-scooter market was in 1986 when GoPed introduced its first production of stand-up scooters. I recently purchased a GoPed for somebody, but it's non-electric, and they also had gas-powered engines, the GoPeds that were popular in the 80s and early 90s, but I bought one with no engine just to get some exercise, and we'll get a report on that one of these episodes. GoPed dominated the market until the early 2010s. They had several series of different types of scooters. And 2013 to 14 is when lithium batteries came into play. However, most modern-day scooters we see today were introduced in 2018 when scooter sharing systems, rental scooters, became common. Now you use an app on your phone, find a nearby scooter, kind of like e-bikes in a lot of cities. I noticed when I was in Milan that they had a lot of e-bikes there. You just walk up, boom, 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 take it off, and then you got to know where to return it, though. They weren't leaving the e-bikes wherever. They were in specific parking spots. As pollution due to vehicle emissions peaks, people are starting to figure out maybe there's more environmentally friendly ways that I can commute. This obviously has led to the increased use of e-scooters. Of course, they're more popular in urban areas. Germany, France, Switzerland, and Austria have permitted the use of electric scooters in public. They're also allowed in the U.S., but you need to be 18 years of age. Yeah, that's not really true. I'm sorry, this part of the article is just not true because every single state has different rules. The concept of a scooter sharing system, rental scooters, was introduced in 2018. That's what enables riders to use electric scooters for the short term without owning them. They're dockless, meaning they don't have a fixed home location. Riders can spot them using an e-scooter app on your telephone. The rise of the e-scooter industry can be attributed to a lot of different developments over the past decade. Some of them starting in chronological order. In 2012, Scoot Networks released moped-style scooters. 2017, Bird and Lime, which are both American transportation companies, launched the dockless electric kick scooter. Within a year, Bird had 100 cities and a valuation of $2 billion. In the same year, Lime offered more than 11.5 million rides. In 2018, Uber and Lyft launched their e-scooter sharing services. I don't think those have been successful. I don't know. I haven't followed up much on that. I haven't heard a lot about it. Though the concept of e-scooter ride sharing initially originated in the U.S., it quickly expanded to other parts of the world. Let's take a look. Asia. They really came popular in Singapore when companies Neuron and Grab introduced e-scooter services in the country. Grab made $10 billion bucks. Neuron soon expanded its operations to Thailand and now owns the biggest collection of e-scooters in Singapore and Thailand. 2018, Uber entered Southeast Asian e-scooter market by acquiring 27.5% stake in Grab's equity. If you don't know what Grab is the equivalent of Uber, at least in Thailand. I don't know what other countries. In 2018, Lime became the first foreign company to provide e-scooter services in the city, with its headquarters for Asia operations being in Singapore. Since 2018, both Lime and Bird have been working with Japanese traffic authorities to expand their operations in Japan.
Get on board. The train's about to leave the station. The Electric Scooter Podcast. Woo! Everybody now, get with me. It's coming at you. A new episode. The Electric Scooter Podcast. It's electric. It's electric. Yeah, you know you want it. Listen. Put it in your ear.
And now let's move it on over to Europe. June of 2018, Lime launched a large-scale expansion of its e-scooter operations in Paris. And in 4 months, their mobile app became the top-ranked travel app in France, according to the App Store. And they would know, they have the statistics. By 2019, Lime expanded its European operations to 50-plus European cities, including, of course, Paris, London, Berlin, Rome, Madrid, and Athens. In August of 2018, Bird launched its European e-scooter expansion strategy in Paris, which now covers over 20 other European cities. Next year, 2019, Uber entered the European e-scooter market with Uber Jump, with a test launch in Madrid. The company expanded its operations to Europe's 10 most populated urban centers within 7 months. Another company based in Amsterdam called Felix, F-E-L-Y-X, has been dominating the e-scooter market in the Netherlands and in Belgium, Brussels specifically. How about South America? It came a little bit later compared to the U.S. and Europe and Asia. There's a company called Yellow in South America. They raised $63 million at the start of 2019 and merged with another company called Grow Mobility, which is a Mexican e-scooter service. As of 2019, Grow Mobility is the biggest e-scooter service provider in South America with over 100,000 e-scooters. There's also a Colombian e-scooter startup called Cosmic Go, and Movo is a Spanish mobility service that operates in South America. So let's talk some statistics. E-scooter sharing services are most popular among low and medium income. More than 70% of people with an annual income under $50,000 have a positive view of e-scooters. See how the wealthy people with the top hats and the monocle look down their noses at e-scooters, as they're getting in their private jets and flying to different parts of the world. The positive perception decreases slightly as income increases. So the richer you are, the less you like scooters. Boy, that explains a lot why I like scooters so much. When it comes to segmentation by gender, females tend to use e-scooters more than males. It's not a broad margin, it's no pun intended. 72% versus 67% men. However, the difference will soon diminish as more men are ditching personal vehicles for e-scooters and motorcycles.
He's saving lives while I'm talking jive. So let's talk to Cody. Let's talk to Cody. Let's talk to Cody.
Let's talk to Cody. So, Cody, you're back. You got back from Spokane, Washington, didn't touch down long in Los Angeles, and you headed across the pond to España. Is that true?
Yes, sir. 6,000 miles.
Wow, 6,000 miles. Before we talk about that, though, I want to ask you a couple questions that I think I know the answers to, but maybe you could clarify a little bit. I did mention on the last podcast that you are not an EMT, that you're in fact a paramedic. And am I right that paramedic is a little higher up the scale, requires a little more education? Are there different things that you're allowed to do as a paramedic that an EMT could not do?
Yeah, it's a whole lot more. It's we're the ones that do the medications, the IVs, the intubation, more advanced procedures, kind of stuff like that.
So what does the EMT do? Just anything but not medicine and things like that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to word it, but mostly like taking the blood pressures, like getting the vital signs. Listening to lung sounds. Like the craziest thing an EMT could do is deliver a baby. That's kind of like, if you got to deliver a baby, that's within your, what we call scope of practice.
I think anybody off the street delivers a baby. If so, you know, right? You've heard taxi drivers doing it and librarians.
Yeah, but there's ways to determine, the imminent signs of delivery and stuff like that, and know like when something's going wrong and when something's normal, expected complications and stuff like that. So,
have you ever responded to a scooter injury?
I know I have like a Vespa scooter guy.
No, I'm talking about a stand-up electric scooter.
Not that I could think of. No.
So how many years have you been a paramedic or involved? Let's count your EMT years.
Yeah,
too.
working on the ambulance, over 10.
So 10 years in Los Angeles, California. That's not a small area. I mean, you're in San Bernardino.
Well, I wouldn't say Los Angeles. I'd say more the east end of Los Angeles County and the west end of San Bernardino County, right where they butt up.
Is it fair for me to say that it is a densely populated, massive area with freeways, fast driving side streets, and sidewalks and neighborhoods, and 10 long years you've never had to pick someone up because of a scooter accident?
Not that I could think of, no.
See, to me, that's a real world application of, experience. That says something to me. It's firsthand that you have never come across a scooter accident in 10 long years. And there are people riding scooters there, right?
I do see a guy riding a one wheel all the time, but I'm trying to think of I don't really see too many people riding scooters around where I'm at. I mean, in the city of Los Angeles, definitely, Lime or Bird or whatever they have there. But around where I'm at, I don't know if I really see people riding scooters that much. Like I said, I see one guy all the time riding his one wheel.
Well, your neighborhood, I think, would be awesome because you're in Chino Hills, right? Well, actually, correct. I guess where you used to live anyway. It would, to me, I look at places like that with green parks and sloping hills and nice sidewalks. I look out the window from your Tesla, and I say, wow, this is a place to scooter. I would own a scooter. I'd own a scooter anyway. I anywhere. I mean, I live in the desert, and I own a scooter, but your area seems particularly nice. How far away are you now from your old home? I know you moved recently.
Maybe 7 miles on the freeway, 5-minute drive.
Okay.
So I'm pretty close to. Yeah, I mean, I could take if I took the streets, like the nice hilly streets, it would probably take 12 minutes. But I was gonna say to ride my bike from my new place to my old place, you wouldn't be able to do it without getting off your bike and walking it uphill. And I was actually gonna ask you, do you think? I mean, how steep of a grade? I'm sure it depends on scooter to scooter, but could a electric scooter make it up a hill that you wouldn't be able to ride a bike up?
Oh, yes.
You think? Or I'm sure the Wolf Warrior could make it up those hills, but
There are scooters that actually do even much better than the Wolf Warrior at hill climbing. There's a guy named Wrong Way. I talked about him in a previous podcast. He's in Warsaw, Poland, and I'm going to interview him. We have communicated with each other, and he's like, yeah, I want to do it, but we just got to set up a time and all that. But he scoots around. I think it's Warsaw. I believe it's Warsaw in Poland, because I've been there and I kind of recognize some of the areas. But there's one cement, what do you call it? Like in Los Angeles, you know, where the old riverbed is, where they in the 70s they'd show all the car chases and stuff. They have
like a wash.
Yeah, kind of like a wash. Yeah, he's got an area that's like a wash, and it's kind of under a bridge. And I seen him test various scooters going up that. That's what he uses. Ginger on wheels. He also has a certain place that he tests. But I remember specifically from Wrong Way that the couple he was testing against the Wolf Warrior, the Wolf Warrior didn't make it. Another one did make it, and another one made it a little bit further than the Wolf Warrior. So,
but is he going directly perpendicular with it? Because I've rode my bike up those, and if you hit it at an angle, it's a more gradual incline.
Yeah, he's also hitting it from a stop. So that's normally you're going to be riding down the street, you hit a hill, and then you see the hill coming, and then you kind of gun it. So no, the Wolf Warrior, anything you're going to come across in an urban commute type of situation, the Wolf Warrior is really going to handle with no problem.
Yeah, the reason I asked that, like I said, is because I wasn't able to make it up. In Chino Hills, there's Chino Hills Parkway, and there's one spot that's really steep. I've tried to make it up on my bike, and I wasn't able to make it, but I'm sure we're going to get to this. But I also rented an electric scooter. I was in Barcelona last week, and that actually was an issue. I got to a hill that I couldn't make it up the hill, and I had to get off the scooter and walk it up.
Huh. Yeah, I guess it depends on whether it's dual motor or single motor. For up hills, urban hills like that, you would want dual motor, and you want to turn both of your motors going on uphill. But I also noticed you sent me a video, and it looked like you were on cobblestone. It looked like kind of slick cobblestone.
Yeah, I'm sure some parts were. I don't remember that particular hill, but I was going to. It's called Park Güell. It's like Guell.
Mm-hmm.
And I rode for I think I rode an hour on the scooter. And at the very end, it's all uphill, and I had to get off. I didn't know how to switch it into like dual motor, or I don't know if it has that capability, but it had eco, and I don't know what the other modes were. It was 3 modes: eco, normal, I guess, and boost or turbo or something.
Yeah, turbo.
And it wasn't making it up. What I was doing was I was holding on the throttle and then pushing it to get up the hill.
Well, yeah, you may have to do that. And if that works, that works. Yeah, you go as far as you can without giving it help. But, paddle with your leg if you're almost there and you're not quite getting it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to get up and push the scooter. If it'll keep going with your assistance, that's what I would do. So tell us about Spain, where you went. You went to a couple. So you went to Ibiza. You went to Barcelona.
And I went to Madrid for about 12 hours. That's about it. Was 4 days in Barcelona, 4 days in Ibiza, and 12 hours in Madrid. But in Barcelona, I rented a bicycle, which I rode for about 2 hours. Well, I know exactly. It was an hour and 55 minutes. Rode a bicycle, and then the next day rode an electric scooter. And I think I rode that thing for about 2 hours also.
But did you tell me you didn't have to pay for the scooter?
Well, sort of. What had happened was we couldn't sync up. I went with 3 of my buddies, and we couldn't really sync up our sleep cycles. So I was sleeping in the afternoon because I think I had stayed up the whole night. And then they rented 3 scooters, and then they were riding them. They came back, and then I was ready to go. And then one of the guys was like, I got to go to sleep. So 3 of us jumped on the scooters, the 3 that they had rented, and we kind of separated. We ate lunch, separated. I went off and rode for an hour by myself to Park Güell. And then the other dude got up and was like, hey, where's my scooter? And I was like, well, I'm way over here. So they rented a 4th scooter. So we ended up, and then we reconvened and all rode together. So I think they paid 30 euros for 24 hours, which would be, I think, like $33.
Yeah.
And then he ended up renting a 4th one for just a few hours. I think it was 20 euros, guessing like $22. Something like that. So the
30
scooters were nice though.
$30 for 24 hours. I mean, you know, it's not terrible considering the cars are super expensive to rent right now. Was the company Movo? Does that sound familiar? MOVO?
I know I went to the place. I mean, I don't think it was a company. I think it was just a mom and pop kind of shop.
Oh, that's, yeah. I like to rent from them rather than like we talked about last time. To me, you know, whose filthy hands were on, you know, the handlebars before you, and what were they doing? And, you know, you just put your credit card number into an app and all that kind of stuff. Man, mom and pop is the way to go.
Yeah, they just walked in and got it. I returned the scooter, so I went to the place. But how'd you come up? What's Movo?
I think that's the name of a large company in Spain, similar to Bird and Lime.
Yeah, I think it's actually Movi or something. I don't know if it's Movo, but I did see that company. Or there was one that's like SMOU. And it was weird with bikes. Some of the bike rentals are for residents only, and you have to sign up with a Spanish phone number. And I tried to rent one of those and was unsuccessful because I didn't know that they have bike rentals that are only for people who live there. Then they have other bike rentals that are for people visiting. So I don't know if it's the same with scooters. I think the scooters are all just mom and pop. I don't think there's like one where you have to be a resident to rent a scooter there.
That's good if it's mom and pop, because if I'm going to stay there for a couple weeks, I'll probably get some kind of deal. Instead of paying $30 for 24 hours, it may come out to be less. They may have weekly rentals, and that to me would be excellent. So yeah, mom and pop is the way to go. And you make friends that way. I know I did in Ecuador. You meet people and ride with them and get to know each other and make connections, and especially if they're local. Francisco Castro down in Ecuador, he showed me some cool places to go and pointed out some sites, and it was just a blast. I think when you're in a new city, scooter is definitely a way to see the town. I know you like pedal bicycles because you want to exercise, right?
I mean, that's part of the reason. I also felt that the scooter was really dangerous. This is my recommendation. Like what I would say is, I think riding an electric scooter in Barcelona is one of the funnest things. That was probably like one of my favorite parts of the trip. It was awesome experience, everything. But it also feels like one of the most dangerous places because there's so many one-way streets and there's so many little tight alleys. And I didn't crash into anyone on the scooter. And there's a lot of people riding scooters everywhere and bikes. But I did crash on my rental bicycle within about 20, 30 seconds after getting on it.
Did you have a helmet on?
I did on the scooter and I didn't on the bike.
Oh, okay.
So the scooter place, they give you a helmet. Bicycle, I didn't have a helmet. So I get on the bicycle. It was 10 euros for 24 hours from Donkey Republic. That's the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they have those all over the place. They're orange bicycles. I jumped on the bicycle, and the first intersection, like the first alley, I was in La Rambla area, which is like a touristy area, and there's a bunch of little tiny streets where you could barely fit a car down, but people still fit their cars down there. But it's mostly foot traffic or bicyclists and scooter people.
Sounds like Europe, yeah. Sounds like Italy. Sounds like other places, Prague, yeah.
So I come to this first intersection, and I'm going real slow. I'm pulling out, and this dude basically T-bones me, and I'm pretty sure he fell off his bicycle. I think he slammed into me, flew off his bike, fell onto the ground. The first thing he asked me is, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he's like, "Sorry, I was riding way too fast." It seemed like he was a local, but you could tell English wasn't his first language, but he spoke English, you know? And, yeah, we just kept asking each other if we're okay. And then he was like, "I'm sorry, man. I was riding way too fast." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Like, I'm sure it was my fault.
How was it your fault? He T-boned you.
Well, because I'm pulling out, he's going. You know what I mean? It should be, if I'm coming up, I don't know, actually.
You should have paid more attention.
I don't know who has the right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, I don't know who has the right of way because, I mean, it's just two little narrow streets. I'm pulling out, but I was going real slow. I mean, 2-3 miles an hour. But this guy had to be going pretty much he was going as fast as he could possibly go on a manual bicycle. And he just slammed into me.
It seems like you'd have been hurt a lot worse.
Well, he hit right behind my front tire. So he slammed into the frame of my bike. So I didn't even fall off my bike.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he slammed into me. I'm trying to think of you get what I'm saying? Right behind my front tire. So he like dead center hit the frame right in front of me.
The only part I'm not
in front of my body
100% visualizing is, okay, you were going in a straight line and you were crossing a small alley type street. He was
coming into an alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he slams into me.
He hit you. So it seems to me that that's on him, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not visualizing.
Well, I think I'm pulling. Well, because I'm pulling out in front of him is how I see it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But he admitted, he's like, "My bad. I was going way too fast."
I was in Taiwan, in the capital, Taipei. And I was, what's the name of the street? One of the main streets up by the mountain, by Yangmingshan. It's where a lot of foreigners live. And it's by the hospital. It's called Rongzong, but I can't think of the street name right now. And I had my bicycle, and I was holding on to it, walking across the street with a green light. And a scooter came flying in between the two lines of stopped cars and slammed into me as I was in the pedestrian crosswalk walking my bicycle. And it threw me up into the air, and I landed in the street. I think I did have a helmet on, but it did cause me to pass out. I lost consciousness for a second because I came to, and the guy was looking back at me. He was on the scooter ahead of me. Cars were starting to drive. They were taking off. They already had a green light. And he looked and he saw that I moved, and wham, he just jetted on straight, man. He didn't say, "How are you? Can I help you? Anything? I'm sorry." Nothing. And he was coming to a red light, splitting lanes, and just slammed into me that hard that I was probably 5 or 6 feet away from where my bicycle landed. It landed in one place and I landed in another.
Yeah, for me though, no accidents on the scooter, only on the bicycle. So I don't know if that's because I was wearing a helmet on the scooter and I wasn't wearing one on the bike, and that's why I got hit. But
nah, it's all chance. You never know. I mean, the thing is just to always wear a helmet. I do carry a helmet when I travel, but I'm a goofball. Nobody else does that. I have a carbon fiber helmet that's really light and doesn't take up a lot of room. And it's probably not the best protection, but you could wear it sort of for motorcycles and sort of for scooters. It's one of those half shells like a Harley rider or like a cruiser rider would wear. So that thing's very simple and easy. So I do pack that.
the guys told me that that it's required to wear a helmet, I guess. That they were saying the cops will say something to you probably if you're not wearing your helmet on the scooter, at least.
In Spain?
Sounds like it. Yeah, that's what they were telling me.
Well, now that was some interesting conversation to be continued next week. We're going to find out a little bit more about Barcelona, the city itself, hear a little bit about the food, the people there, how they react to scooters. Do people mostly wear helmets? It sounds like they do if the police are going to talk to them. How are they on the roads? Do they kind of follow the rules, or is it all just kind of crazy? Is it true what we heard earlier, that it seems like there's more scooters in Spain than cars? Hard to believe, but all these questions and many more are going to be answered next week, so stay tuned for episode 77 of the Electric Scooter Podcast next Wednesday. Until next time, keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down.